Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're looking at something really unique, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Lapis Lamiis, the Arcanum of the Stone Zoanon. And this is not your typical book. It's hand-sewn numbered. There's only 231 copies in existence.
Wow.
We're actually going to be looking at copy number 231, but so it doesn't get more exclusive than that, does it?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. One of the first things that captivated me about this text was the core concept of the Zoanon.
Okay.
It's not just a stone. It's a fallen meteorite described as this sacred object, a bridge between the earthly and the divine realms.
Yeah, there's definitely this air of mystery from the get-go. And, speaking of mystery, it opens with this image, a woman with a flower, a snake wrapped around a plant, a black sun.
Yeah.
Some very strange lettering. I mean, what is going on in this image?
Well, I think this image is likely depicting a goddess figure, possibly connected to witchcraft or ancient mysteries. The book refers to the Zoanon as the lumen stone of witches. So there's a strong connection to those practices, but not just any witches. It speaks of a cultus sabati, which is described as the hidden body of the witches. So there's more to this concept than I think we initially realize.
Yeah, definitely feels like we're being drawn into a secret world here.
Yeah.
To add another layer of intrigue, the Zonon's landing site is said to be Beth El, which translates to the house of God. I mean, I feel like that can't just be a coincidence.
No, I don't think so. Bethel carries deep biblical significance. Think Jacob's ladder and the dream of a connection between heaven and earth.
Right.
By placing the Zoanon there, the text really imbues it with profound symbolism, linking it to these divine realms and these pivotal moments of spiritual revelation.
And then we get to the 11 declarations of the stone.
Yes.
And this is where things get really interesting. The very first declaration states that the Zoanon takes physical form through this book itself. Yep. It's like a physical manifestation of this cosmic power. I mean, would you agree?
I would agree completely. The book as a physical embodiment of the Zoanon is so central to understanding this power and its potential. It acts as this conduit between this cultus sabati, this hidden body of witches, and the material world.
Yeah.
So it's like a bridge, allowing us to tap into this current of energy that's usually hidden from our perception.
And this book, it doesn't shy away from this power. It calls itself a living book, a grammar of unbecoming. I mean, that's not just descriptive language, right?
No, it's not just descriptive language. I think it's almost like a declaration of intent.
Yeah.
It points to the transformative potential that this book claims to hold.
Yeah.
So it's not just about acquiring knowledge. It's about actively, reshaping ourselves, becoming something new, something unbound.
Declaration number 3 really emphasizes this idea of transformation. It states that the body itself is a vessel of the divine. This is a theme that we see throughout the text. So I'm wondering, is unbecoming about shedding our physical form, or is it more about transcending the limitations that we place on ourselves?
That's a good question. And it's interesting because as you look at the book, you notice references to ancient Greek practices and deities woven into this narrative.
Okay.
So this blending of spiritual traditions suggests there's this complex tapestry of influences, and it recognizes this quest for transformation that we've seen across cultures and throughout history.
It's not a new idea, but I think Lapis Lamiis is offering a very unique approach to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're starting to see a clearer picture of unbecoming, but there's still so much to unpack. We have this Zoanon, we have this living book, we have this hidden body of witches. And then declaration number 9 reveals the Zoanon's hidden name, Apocynon.
Okay.
And get this, it's linked to the stars.
Wow.
Specifically to the constellation Timimble.
Yeah.
What is the significance of this celestial connection?
Yeah. Well, suddenly we've been given this cosmic roadmap, but the meaning of Apocynon and the symbolism of Timimble, they're open to interpretation. What connections can you draw? What might these terms reveal about the Zoanon's nature and power? And could it be that unbecoming isn't just this personal transformation, but a process of aligning ourselves with these cosmic forces?
And speaking of aligning with forces, let's not forget the prayer of the Baedalis.
Yes.
I mean, this prayer just drips with evocative language, calling upon ancient gods, referencing rituals, and ultimately seeking the forthcoming of the Word of One.
Yeah, and remember that Betalis refers to sacred stones in ancient cultures.
Right.
So by invoking that term, the prayer further connects the Zoanon to these objects of power, suggesting that its significance goes far beyond just the pages of this book. What do you think? Could this word of one be the ultimate goal of this unbecoming process?
It certainly feels like a climactic revelation, something we're being guided toward. I mean, this deep dive has taken us from this limited edition book to ancient gods, secret societies, cosmic constellations.
Amazing.
Where are we going next? I can't wait to find out.
It is quite a journey, isn't it? And I think we're just starting to unravel the threads.
Yeah, for sure.
I keep coming back to this idea of the word of one. What could it be? A hidden truth, a state of being. Is this word something that we discover, or is it something that we become?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Wow.
It's almost like the book is asking us directly, challenging us to grapple with. I mean, we've talked about the Zoanon is this link between realms, right? This conduit for transformation. Could this word of one be like the ultimate expression of that transformation? The point where those realms kind of merge within us.
It's a really intriguing thought, and it certainly aligns with this idea that the Zoanon can bridge these worlds to facilitate a kind of cosmic union. But remember, it's not just about the Zoanon itself. The text repeatedly stresses this importance of human action, ritual, and practice.
Right.
So could it be that this word of one isn't just given to us, but something that we actively cultivate through our engagement with the Zoanon's power, as outlined in this grammar of unbecoming?
You know, that makes me think of the grammar of unbecoming in a new light. It's not just a set of rules, but maybe a guidebook for navigating this transformative process, a way of aligning ourselves with the Zoanon's power to achieve this ultimate union.
Absolutely. Think of it as like learning a new language. The grammar of unbecoming provides us with the vocabulary, the structure, the tools for communication. But you're the one that has to speak the words. You have to put the grammar into practice to unlock its true potential.
So that raises a question for me. We keep coming back to unbecoming, shedding old forms, embracing something new. But what that actually look like? How do we apply this grammar of unbecoming in our own lives?
Well, the text doesn't really give us a step-by-step guide, but it does provide clues through its symbolism, its language. Remember the image of the woman with the flower, the snake, the black sun? Those aren't just random elements. They're symbolic representations of the forces at play in this transformative process.
Okay, so the serpent, for example, often associated with transformation, renewal, shedding its skin, to embrace new growth. Could that be a metaphor for this process of unbecoming?
Absolutely.
Shedding our old selves to make way for something new.
Yeah, a very astute observation.
And the black sun, often associated with hidden knowledge, esoteric wisdom. Could that represent a need to look beyond conventional sources of understanding, delve into the shadows, to uncover these truths that are hidden beneath the surface?
That's a great point.
And the woman holding the flower, could she represent the individual who's undergoing this transformation, harnessing the power of those symbolic elements?
Yeah, I think Lapis Lamiis isn't just presenting a philosophy. It's inviting us to participate in this symbolic journey of self-discovery.
So it's not just about reading the book. It's about joining this cultus sabati in a metaphorical sense. Becoming a part of this lineage of seekers who are actively working towards this word of one.
That's the idea, I think. It's not just a random concept. It's a representation of those who have embarked on this path. Who have embraced this grammar of unbecoming and are actively engaged in this transformative process.
This cultus sabati, though, this hidden body of witches, are we talking about actual witches here?
Well, this is where I think the text gets intentionally ambiguous. It's not about literal witches in a traditional sense. Instead, it's using this imagery to represent those who embody a certain mindset, a willingness to challenge conventional wisdom, to embrace the unknown, and to seek knowledge and power beyond the accepted norms.
So it's less about pointy hats and broomsticks. And more about a certain rebellious spirit, this hunger for knowledge that lies beyond the surface.
Tapping into this hidden current of power that flows beneath the surface of everyday reality.
And I think we so often get caught up in our routines. The expectations of everyday life. That we forget there might be more to reality than what we're conditioned to see.
Lapis Lamiis is this call to awaken
Right?
to those hidden possibilities, to recognize that we have this potential to shape our own reality.
And it suggests that this power isn't something reserved for a select few.
Right.
It's something that's inherent within each of us.
Absolutely.
This grammar of unbecoming is available to anyone who's willing to embrace its principles and put it into practice.
I agree.
But this all sounds so incredibly intriguing, but also a bit out there.
Yeah.
Is there any historical basis for these concepts, or is it all purely symbolic and metaphorical?
That's the beauty of it. Lapis Lamiis weaves together elements of mythology, philosophy, esoteric traditions,
Right.
creating this tapestry of meaning that's both familiar
Right.
and utterly unique.
So it's drawing on this rich history
Yeah,
of human attempts to understand the universe and our place within it.
absolutely.
It's also forging its own path, creating its own system of belief and practice.
Exactly.
It's like the author took these scattered threads of wisdom and wove them into something entirely new.
And by doing so, it invites us to consider
Okay.
the possibility of different ways of knowing, of experiencing the world beyond the limitations of our ordinary perception.
Yeah, it's making me think about how we often just take our understanding of reality for granted. What if there's more to it? What if there are forces at play that we're only dimly aware of?
That's the sense of wonder I think that Lapis Lamiis really evokes.
Yeah.
It challenges us to question our assumptions, to open ourselves to the possibility of something
Right.
beyond the mundane.
You know, we've been talking a lot about this grammar of unbecoming,
Yeah.
but we haven't really delved into what it actually says.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to unpack some of these declarations.
I agree.
See what specific insights they offer on this path to transformation. What do you think?
Yeah, let's delve into the specifics. Maybe by examining the language,
Okay.
the symbolism within these declarations, we can glean a deeper understanding of this grammar and how it might be applied in our lives.
All right, so we're diving into the grammar of unbecoming, these 11 declarations that seem to lay out the path in Lapis Lamiis. I'm ready to see what this grammar looks like in action. Where should we start?
Well, how about we jump right into the heart of it with the fifth declaration? This one really grabbed my attention. It states, "Aright stand I, aroused as the membrum of the devil, for the wanton pleasure of the Sabbath queen, manifest in the sky, for the godstone through which the light of Lucifer may seed the flesh of all worlds and accomplish the intercourse of angelic and demonic." What do you make of that?
Wow, talk about bold imagery.
Yeah.
The Soanon is described as a conduit for this cosmic union between angelic and demonic forces. It's definitely not your typical spiritual language.
Yeah.
How do you interpret this declaration in the context of unbecoming?
It challenges us to reconsider this conventional duality of good and evil.
Okay.
And it suggests maybe a more nuanced understanding of these forces. Remember we talked about unbecoming, shedding old forms, moving beyond limitations. Could this declaration be pointing to the need to integrate those aspects of ourselves that we typically label as good or bad, recognizing that both are essential for wholeness?
That's a fascinating perspective. It's like saying that true transformation requires embracing all aspects of ourselves, even those that we might find uncomfortable or try to repress. It's about recognizing the interplay of light and shadow within us.
Exactly. And the Zoanon, through its connection to both angelic and demonic realms, acts as a catalyst for this integration, for this alchemical process of uniting opposites within ourselves.
This really flips the script on traditional notions of spirituality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about striving for some idealized state of purity,
Right.
but about recognizing the inherent complexity of our being.
And that complexity, that tension between seemingly opposing forces,
Right.
that's where the creative potential lies. It's through the friction,
Yeah.
the interplay of light and shadow that something new can emerge.
Okay, so we've got this powerful idea of integrating our angelic and demonic sides. What other insights can we glean from these declarations?
So let's look at the seventh declaration. It introduces a different tone, a sense of warning, perhaps, even a touch of danger. It proclaims, "Great is my height and long is my shadow. I rise as the words graven on my face proclaiming, alas, alas, and the black bird of vengeance descends."
Ooh, that's interesting. The blackbird of vengeance certainly adds a darker element. It makes me think that this path of unbecoming isn't without its risks. It's not all fluffy self-discovery. There are consequences to consider.
Precisely. It speaks to the power inherent in this process, a power that demands respect and careful consideration. It's a reminder that transformation isn't always pleasant or easy. It can be disruptive, challenging, even painful at times.
It's like that saying, the only way out is through. You can't achieve true transformation without confronting the shadows, those aspects of yourself that you might prefer to keep hidden.
And the Blackbird of Vengeance could represent those shadow aspects rising to the surface, demanding to be acknowledged and integrated. It's a reminder that ignoring those parts of ourselves won't make them disappear. In fact, it might make them even more potent.
This is starting to feel like a high-stakes game, a spiritual journey with real consequences. It makes me wonder, what kind of guidance does this grammar of unbecoming offer for navigating these potential pitfalls?
Remember the prayer of the Baetalus?
Right.
It's not just a plea for the word of one. It's a recognition of the Zonin's role as a guide and protector on this journey. It addresses the Zonin as mask of the company that speaketh unto mortal flesh, O bearer and sentinel of the world field, northward from the place of power. It's like acknowledging a guardian spirit seeking its guidance and protection as we navigate this challenging terrain.
And it also speaks of the tabula sacra to embrace and exalt the flesh of the wise, and the idol untaken to reclaim, whence all forgotten books are reclaimed. What do you make of those lines?
Those lines seem to be pointing to a hidden wisdom, a forgotten knowledge that can be accessed through the Joanon, represented here by the tabula sacra and the idol untaken. It's like saying that the key to navigating this path isn't just about personal effort, it's about tapping into a lineage of wisdom, reclaiming the knowledge that's been lost or forgotten over time.
So it's about connecting to something larger than ourselves, drawing on the collective wisdom of those who have walked this path before us.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're not alone on this journey. There's a community, a lineage of seekers who have grappled with these same challenges, who have discovered insights and practices that can guide us on our own paths.
This deep dive has taken us on quite a journey, hasn't it? We've explored the mysteries of the Johanan, this living book, the grammar of unbecoming, the cultus sabati, this idea of the word of one. Yeah. It's a lot to process, but I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
That's the beauty of Lapis Lamiis, isn't it? It's a text that keeps unfolding, revealing new layers of meaning with each encounter. It's not about finding definitive answers, but about embarking on a continuous process of exploration and discovery.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? What resonates with you from this deep dive? What questions does it spark in your mind?
Remember, the grammar of unbecoming is a framework, a set of principles that can guide you on your own unique journey. It's an invitation to explore the hidden depths of your being, to embrace the complexities and contradictions that make you who you are.
And as we've seen, it's not a journey for the faint of heart. It requires courage, curiosity, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. But the rewards, as hinted at in the text, are potentially life-changing. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep seeking your own word of one. Who knows what you might discover along the way?